Good morning, USA. This is MJW Bigfoot reporting live from Elkton, Virginia. We have a nice sunny day out today. Maybe a chance of rain once more. We've been having a lot of rains. The creek is still unbelievably low. It's so low, I believe anybody could just drive across it in a small truck now. Hopefully we'll start getting some more rain and the water on people's wells will come back up. Things return a little more normal without it being so hot. Trees evaporate an enormous amount of water from the ground in the rains, and they're passing it into the air, which cleans our world up and does a good job, but it also leaves it humid and sticky and miserable outside, especially for disabled people that have shortness of wind, like myself. Speaking of being disabled, I've been disabled since my car accident in 2010. I was T-boned. Make a long story short, I had nerve damage in the base of my skull. I had severe pains at the bottom of my head for so long, it was unreal. It was pretty much the worst torture I ever endured in my whole life. And I've gotten past it, but I have memory problems. I can't focus well. I drop attention. I change subjects a lot, which you might have noticed. And I also don't work. I don't have a permanent employment. I work for myself. I do whatever I can to generate funds from my small mini farm and a few other things, my artwork and stuff like that. But I just want to let you all know that there are ways to achieve, and I have a lot of help from Crossroads to Recovery. They've been helping me a lot, and they've taught me how to help myself. I use my phone for everything, and I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I try to make some to help other people. And I'm actually thinking right now I could help a lot of my mechanics friends out there. I make a lot of mistakes with bolt sizes. It takes me generally 3 times to fix anything. I have to rebuild it 3 times to get it right. Well, nuts and bolts running back to the tool bench is unreal. So I discovered a way that I could tell pretty much what size any nut and bolt was in hand by allowing my brain, teaching my brain what a millimeter was, what a fraction of an inch was, and how to calculate it against my hand at a certain distance from my face. So anytime I pick up a bolt, I can roll it around in my hand, let my brain scan it, and I can pretty much tell you which one it is. I can call to somebody else to get it for me out of the box, and they can pretty much bring me the exact bolt every time. Sometimes I'll call for 2, a standard and a metric, because sometimes they're so close. There's 4 or 5 of them that are really close. So I'm going to show you how I do that right now. This will only take about probably 2 minutes. Alright, what I do, I grab the bolt, I put it at a scanning distance from my face. I scan the size of it, let it compare, my mind scan it and compare it to my hand, the lines on my hand, always at a certain distance from my face, about 1 foot. I do the same thing with shaft size. I teach my mind what notches are per inch, the little notches. I teach my mind what they are per inch, and the possibilities of what they could be by counting a few of them, and the thickness of my fingernail and stuff like that. I can tell you it's a fine thread, a coarse thread, a metric fine thread, machine screw, different things like that. You know all your types. Teach your brain the different types of threads there are too. You'll see wood screws with cutting bits. Once your brain learns the difference between all of them, you can scan them and you can size them and pretty much get them later and know you're getting the right size. When you scan your bolt head, you want to hold it against your fingers, sometimes against your fingernail compared to your fingernail. And you want to look at the flat, the thickness of it, and you also pay attention to the grade. This is a 2-grade AMC. You can see it's just typically stamped. It doesn't have notches. 5 grade will have more notches, and 8 grade will have more notches. It's a harder steel. It'll have little raised areas on the head here. Flange bolts will have a washer that's welded here. But you want to just lay it in your mind, let your mind scan it. And I can tell you right there, that's a 14M standard pitch, 1/4 inch, 14 mm. And it's also 1.5 inches long. I can put that away, and I can go to the store and bring it back, and I guarantee it'll be the same thing. I can do that with anything. I can grab another bolt, scan it, and I can tell you right off that's a 3/4. Same thing, same grade, 2 or 3 grade, low grade steel, standard pitch, 3/8 bolt. Just by letting my mind scan it at a certain distance from my face and letting my mind go over the numbers. For example, I can look at this bolt right here, and this is a flange nut, and I can look at it right off and say it's a 10 mm, but my mind is going 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, no, I'm going too big, 10.2, 10.1, it's 9.9, 9.8, it's a 9.5, no, it's bigger than that, it's a 9.9, that's a 10 mm. That's a 10 mm flange bolt, and I can even look inside and see the thread, and see it's a standard thread. And the width of the hole is about 1/8 inch, so I'm just guessing it's an 1/8 inch standard thread, 10 mm flange nut. And then when I go to the store, I can pick up the package by what it says and take one out, or look through the package at the same distance, and I can scan it with my mind in the store to compare it. I used to take a lot of pictures, but now I'm doing it with my mind. I'm taking photographic pictures with my mind, and I'll teach my brain the difference, but I also use a calculated distance from my face so my brain knows it's looking at something a foot away from the scan tool, which is my eyeball. And by doing that, year after year after year, I can measure things. I've gotten where now I can measure thousandths of an inch with my eye. By using the thickness of my fingernail, I can get a pretty good eye on the thousandths of an inch with a feeler gauge. I did use this for so many years, and it gives you a good example about how metrics can be the same as standard or similar. It's the same standard side hole, like this one here is a 9/16, and then over here it's also a 14. And then you look at the nut that I told you was a 14, and the nut goes right inside of it. This is a kind of a bionic tool. I call it a bionic tool. It's weird, but it doesn't always work perfectly with standard and metric. You get a better high quality 6-point socket. It meets the flat exact measurements, and they're not going to be that close anymore. You're going to have a lot more play on your metric and your standard. They're not going to be nearly as close as it is with this bionic tool. And there you have it, MJW Bigfoot. I hope you have a good day and don't run to your toolbox more than twice per wrench. If you can get them there in one time, and then you're saving yourself some money, you're saving your boss some money, and you're keeping your job longer. Over and out.